The fear of being buried alive haunted many people in the 19th century, when doctors were sometimes unable to distinguish between death and paralysing but temporary illness. It was a nightmare that became real for a small boy during the Great Famine in Ireland. More than 1 million people died of starvation and disease between 1845 and 1850, in what is now increasingly referred to as the Irish Holocaust. With millions destitute and thousands dying each day, the usual burial practices were suspended. The respectful wakes and religious ceremonies were set aside, and the dead were often dumped into mass graves alongside dozens of other nameless victims. During these mass burials, there were reports of people being buried alive. Such incidents happened when people collapsed due to hunger or disease. In their weakened state, they could appear to be dead. One of the most famous instances involved a boy called Tom Guerin. He was only 3 years old when he was buried alive in a mass grave in Abbeystrewry near Skibbereen. The details of exactly what happened are sketchy. Some reports say he was buried for 2 days before the mistake was discovered, possibly when more bodies were being dumped into the same pit. Others say the mistake was discovered during his burial. The gravedigger accidentally struck his legs with a spade, causing Guerin to groan. This is probably the more likely scenario, but we may never know for sure. Guerin survived but was crippled for the rest of his life because his legs were broken during the ordeal. It may be that his family broke his legs in order to squeeze him into a makeshift coffin. Or perhaps more likely, he might have been injured by the blows of a gravedigger's spade. Guerin grew up to be a well-known character in the West Cork area. He scraped a living as a beggar and traded on his macabre celebrity as the boy who rose from the dead. Despite the trauma of his early life, he had a cheerful, outgoing personality with a good sense of humour. He dabbled in writing poetry and wasn't shy about promoting his work. He would announce himself to people by saying, "I'm the poet, I'm the genius." Guerin spent the summer months travelling the county, begging and looking for work. He spent the winter in the local workhouse. He retained a sort of gallows humour about his experiences and could refer to his crippling injuries for comic yet poignant effect. In late 19th century Ireland, the poor could apply to the guardians of the workhouse for help in times of need. Guerin applied for a pair of boots and supported his case with this rhyme. I rose from the dead in the year 48, when a grave at the Abbey had near been my fate. Since then for subsistence I have done all my best, though one shoe points eastward and the other points west. I roam all the world, admiring each scene, and a tax on the ratepayers I never have been. I only appeal to you now for a pair of brogues, and I'll vanish again into air. His application was successful. He got his brogues. Guerin died in 1910 at the age of 65, an impressive lifespan at that time, especially for someone who had endured such a traumatic start in life and was probably malnourished for most of his childhood. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button and leave us a comment. Please check out our other famine videos and of course all our other videos on the Island Calling YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you'll be among the first to see all our new videos.